Let me see what the how long the Bellular video is and see how long that is. Okay. Okay. It's 13 minutes. Should I watch this before or after the dungeon? What do you think? Before or after? Now, during. I don't know if I want to do that because I don't want to just like AFK through it. Now. Okay, well, it'll take a little bit of time for them to get over there to summon, so I might as well just do it now. It's the smartest thing to do. We'll go ahead and pause it. Okay. Let me open this up. Okay, we're good. Watch Diablo 2 Medan trailer. I don't know what that is. Just a second. The WoW problem, and this is something that I've talked about a lot, and this is like, I actually feel really passionate about this. That's why I wanted to see it, because usually we don't watch a lot of Bellular videos, but I do really care about this because it's the reward structure of the game, which in my opinion is what kind of, it's what makes the game, right? It's why people play, for the rewards.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video. Here's the deal, right? Basically no news happened this week, but rather than grasp at...
That's actually really weird, because like look at this, like, scruffy beard, weird ass hair thing to try to make it look like you're not going bald. Bellular, I see you.
Let's try to do something productive and have a discussion. But first, as always, a massive thank you to everyone over on Patreon. They really make this stuff possible. The new wave of Master Tier rewards for this month is, well, you know, that's now announced as of now. And we also have these. These are vinyl stickers. I got a test order of 100 of them. They're really cool. So, yeah, I'm going to throw those in,
for his little logo.
So, massive thank you to them for supporting the channel. And let's get into the discussion. So recently I've been wondering why many people, myself included, have found World of Warcraft's rewards to be not really as compelling lately. Now, I've been trying to think about solutions as well, and surprisingly, Blizzard's approach to Heritage Armor is what made me realize that I actually think they have a lot of things kind of wrong. Now, this may seem all doom and gloom, but it really isn't. I actually think this is something that Blizzard themselves really want to do. I think they're kind of struggling along the way, though. So, rewards. What do you think of when you think about a reward in a game? I think most of us picture like a piece of gear that looks epic. Certainly looking back, you know, to the day, that was a big driver of gameplay. You saw someone who looked cooler than you, you wanted to look that cool, and getting that gear was the way to look cool. Here's the thing though, I don't really think you actually cared about the stats and the gear as much. I mean, not really. That probably wasn't the core driver of like the fantasy that made you excited. It's the prestige,
that's what matters.
Now, you know, of course, it was a combination of the satisfaction of having a bit more power, but mainly I would say
you don't want to look like that.
Of having earned something and then looking really cool, and that's just a viscerally fun thing to have happen. You right-click that bit of gear, you see those new shoulder.
By the way, just a little fun fact there: you would never actually use that sword for tanking if you had this tier 6 set right here. With the belt right there from Sunwell. Wrong belt that he was using there. The belt actually comes from Black Temple. You'd actually use the sword from Kalagos because it had a faster attack speed. It was a better sword.
Feel great. Now, World of Warcraft traditionally was fantastic at doing this, and not only for gear. Back in vanilla, things like, say, your mount skill, that was a massive milestone, and since there were comparatively so few mounts in the game, each one felt a bit more unique and thrilling. There were unique class quests and items, loads of longer quest chains, professions had a lot more to them, and there's just pathways of, you know, getting lots of like strong visual progression there. Now, Burning Crusade largely continued this, but it added flying. Now, getting epic flying was a massive milestone that kept people excited for weeks.
Yeah, I had to borrow money from my mom to
collecting the
afford
flying
it.
mounts was really exciting because spending 3 weeks on Skedis or Netherwing, well, back then there were so few flying mounts in total that each one of them felt unique. Having a Netherwing Drake,
I just want to go ahead and go back real quick. Do you see?
Really exciting because spending 3 weeks on Skedis.
This fuck-ass piece of shit motherfucker, dick-sucking piece of shit motherfucker right here. This guy right here. These is why you bought Epic Flying. They would chase you the fuck down, and they would hit you until you got dazed off your goddamn mount. And people finally learned that if you flew all the way up directly vertically, it would make it to where you'd never get hit by them. And you know what Blizzard did? They fucking fix it. God damn. I don't know what that is. All right, let's go. I really hate those birds, all right? That's all I have to say. I just don't like them. Get a soda? Okay, just a minute. Let me go back to where I was at. Okay, we're here.
There were so few flying mounts in total that each one of them felt unique. Having a Netherwing Drake felt very different to just having a Swift Griffin. Wrath largely continued on with this trend, but it opened up the visual progression to more players, just with its content, and added big new earnable milestones like, say, the Tundra Mammoth. Now, mounts were still pretty low in overall count as compared to today, so even back then, earning them still felt kind of new and exciting, especially because many people only just got their flying in Wrath. But then we'll saw it as Cataclysm, because it honestly didn't feel that exciting in this regard, with not much in the way of non-raid cosmetic progression. But of course, you know, it had a few cool mounts. This all would then change with Transmog, and I would argue that this was the last massive increase to WoW's cosmetic progression. For many people, this unlocked weeks, even months of progress. Now, Mists of Pandaria, it had its pet battles, and while I think that opening up LFR so much was probably a mistake, that did let people shoot for more visual rewards, and that was a reason to play. As for WoD, well, the Garrison progression was fun for about 3 weeks, but after that, the expansion just petered out. It was a really bad time for mount collectors.
Dude, that first month of WoD, I actually wanted to log on and play the game. I was so happy. Like, I would log on and I would play, and it was WoD. I was so happy. It was amazing, dude. I would go on. I would enjoy everything about it. It would just be fucking great. I would be like, hey, guys, who wants to come do the challenge mode dungeon for today? They're like, oh, which one is it? Oh, it's for UBRS. Okay, let's go. And then we'd all get over to the UBRS and we'd do the dungeon, and it would take like 2 hours, and we'd finally finish it. We'd get a good piece of gear, and it was just awesome. Everything about WoD, like the first, like WoD up until Highmaul was unironically good. It actually was good. And then they added Highmaul, and it was fucking easy. You just had Highmaul eclipse all of the rest of the gear in the game, and so it became Warlords of Highmaul instead of Warlords of Draenor. It was terrible. Blizzard has no idea. That's the problem.
I'll remember Warlords of Paymore. Legion was pretty great, though. Our artifacts had loads of visuals and a fair bit of progression through that stuff, like, say, even the Mage Tower as well.
That's a new one. I haven't heard that
was
before.
Probably the Mage Tower was some of the most time-efficient content the team have probably ever made.
Yeah.
Now, we then have features like the class mounts, which are relevant to this day and amazingly managed to make a mount reward feel exciting.
Not
and that's
really.
the thing with mounts. There's like 500
I never really
of them.
cared about
so
that.
just adding a few new ones doesn't make them feel special.
That's what I've been saying for
having a mount
years,
as a
dude.
reward is less
Bellular's
exciting
been watching my stream
today than it was in vanilla TBC or Wrath. And then we hit Battle for Azeroth.
Returns.
The allied race stuff is pretty good, but past that, the progression is really kind of weak. We don't have something like artifacts in terms of, you know, level of customization and long-term cosmetic unlocks.
You're right, we don't
have something like the class mounts yet.
No,
the epic faction-themed gear for Warfronts is unlocked in like about 4 hours of time, and the raid gear has been kind of lackluster. For the players who, you know, they just want to see someone who looks epic in town and they want to, like, emulate that, there's not really that much these days. And that's combined with Battle for Azeroth not really innovating with its reward mechanics. Sure, we get Azerite, but that just looks the same as regular gear. We get Titan Forges, but they look the same. Ultimately, in terms of the emotional reasons that underpin why people feel a sense of progression in a game, style is the best stat. Losing our class sets and then not innovating in terms of other cosmetic rewards that much, plus everything just being diluted by years of additions, means that getting a new mount or a new pet just isn't really as exciting as it used to be.
No one gives a fuck.
Now, what got to me was the Blood Elf and Dwarf Heritage armor. First, it looks really wonderful, but the thing is, it's gained from a 15 to 30 minute long quest line. Most players will already, of course, have the rep requirement. So all those art resources,
AKA nobody
15
cares.
minutes of content per race, that gets to the heart of my problem. Blizzard struggle to make the basics of their rewards feel exciting. Blizzard create this like additive content, not multiplicative content. They make a set, you spend 15 minutes questing for that set, and that's it. Is that really worth the tens or hundreds of man hours that went into making that set? Now, an example of a multiplicative system would be having armor that is designed for transmog, such that you could unlock, you know, such that it could unlock other options. Now, this is something that Chris Robinson, I believe, actually hit on during the BlizzCon Q&A. So, as an example, if Blizzard was to add 4 sets, one for each armor type, and those sets initially had neutral colors plus tint options, that would be multiplicative in nature. What does that mean? Well, you would have gameplay involved in unlocking that set. But then, because that armor would be visually flexible, it would be able to mix and match with other existing bits of gear and transmog sets. So maybe you've got a pair of shoulders that look epic. but they don't really match with anything in a way that you like. Well, the system...
Well, if you're a part of my transmount competitions, you just put them together anyway and you show up. Fuck it.
Like this could allow you to start making more tailored sets. Hell, you could even unlock special tints for doing harder, rare content. So that's multiplicative in nature because...
Rewards based on difficulty? Who said that before?
Because of the effects that its addition would have on other systems and other rewards in the game. That would be a more effective leveraging of Blizzard's development time, and in this case, it would actually feel different to the current rewards. Right now in BFA, if you're just a player who wants to look epic, you can get like 90% of the way there with very little effort, as I did. Now, I think that having a diverse array of cosmetic rewards would just be a great boon for the game. It would be fantastic. I think it would actually get people excited. I think the basics of World of Warcraft's like emotional character progression, so, the progression that you really feel, awesome for getting. Stuff like unlocking an epic new weapon. I think those things have kind of worn thin. Mount 450 is that...
And I just want to stop and say this is exactly what they did with the Mage Tower, right? They basically just added a new weapon skin. And the new weapon skin, probably, I would assume that the Mage Tower, in terms of time spent creating it versus time that players invested doing things that were involved with or leading towards the Mage Tower, was probably the best ratio that you could ever imagine. Literally, all they had to do was make one fucking boss that everybody was just like, okay, I'm gonna go kill this boss. And that created tons of content for all the players in the game because they had to do raids and figure out their class and do their class order hall questline and do all these other ancillary things and secondary things. And it ended up being a huge amount of content for the game, even if it was in an indirect way.
Exciting than Mount 30. Pet 500 is less exciting than Pet 5.
That's
rather than
literally
adding a bunch of new pets to islands or a bunch of new mounts to vendors or some traditional feeling sets for doing some short quests, I think Blizzard need to focus on how they can reinvigorate and rethink the core of their visual progression such that players have more diverse and compelling rewards and as well just more room for their own creative expression. So let's talk ideas. First, we've got the Tintable Armor. That is a system that could initially have one set for each armor type, probably with a neutral visual style, but then you could add to that over time, and then each addition to that system would be great. It would unlock even more options for mixing and matching, as well as more ways to reward players with unlockable tints for that gear. Then I think professions should have sets. Hell, even something like, say, an epic set for maxing out every expansion's profession skill for zone content. How about we get a unique bit of armor or weapon for 100%ing a zone? I mean, yeah,
what is this, 2007?
Is kind of cool, but it would be cooler if you could get something tangible that's like tied to the aesthetics of that zone. You could, even go back to the older zones in the game and add relevancy to them through doing something like that. How about a Kalimdor set for Alliance and Horde, and then an Eastern Kingdom set for Alliance and Horde? And that would actually give you something for doing the Lore Master for each one. Now, moving on to mounts, that one's a lot more challenging because the only mounts that feel different are like the Transmog Yak, the Tundra Mammoth, the Auction House Longboy, and the Water Strider. Why? Because they're all mechanically different, and that makes earning them exciting because you can do something new with them. Now, Guild Wars 2 has embraced this. They have a small number of mount categories, but each of them actually has their own mastery tree, and this allows you to progress your mount. Now, while the WoW class mounts are mechanically identical, I think they were so thematically strong that they managed to stand apart from the pack and actually feel unique.
I can't wait to get a proto Drake that looks
something
retarded.
Like this again?
Wow.
Well,
how exciting.
You could give different mount families different bonuses. Maybe dragons could nom a critter for a speed boost. Maybe elementals could move extra fast through their elemental type. Perhaps you could add, new mount categories, like say the Guild Wars 2 ones, give them, a clear mechanical niche and an unlock tree, maybe visually and in terms of abilities. Maybe let players transmog old mount appearances onto the new shiny ones. Okay, that's kind of overbearing and would lead to some balance concerns, but I think you get my point. There are so many mounts in the game that bar the really, really special ones, mounts just are not a compelling reward anymore. I mean, hell, you could just wholesale copy Guild Wars 2, its mastery system. Now that basically...
Let me give you an example right now of how much mounts don't matter. I just had a paladin that did 7,000 DPS get the mount from Underrot from me, and he wouldn't trade it to me. He learned it himself. And I told him grats, because I want the mount. But do I really give a fuck? Nah, not really. I should if see, if this was Asmongold from 2008, I would be trying to hunt this guy down right now and like spam him and try to offer him money and like flip the fuck out, getting so mad. And the fact that I'm not spurging out over the fact that I didn't get them out is indication that Bellular is right.
Caps you at level 80, but your XP bar doesn't go away. Instead, each time you fill your XP bar, you get a mastery point, and you can spend these mastery points on any mastery that you want. Maybe you want to be more effective using your glider to get about the place,
Paragon
or you want
levels.
to augment your mount's abilities. I actually think the character progression like that could be a real game changer for World of Warcraft. It would allow Blizzard to embrace the fun and turn it into a reward, rather than constantly being the fun police, nerfing things like gliders, which I think many people remember from the start of Legion. So here's what's clear to me.
Yeah?
While getting new gear and smashing enemies with larger numbers is pretty compelling, MMORPGs need more than that. They need a compelling and visceral progression to your character's visual identity. It's that, like, that's the stuff you feel. Loot that feels epic because it looks cool.
They should just hire
a transmog
Bellular.
system unlocks more creativity.
I mean, he has a game design
and a way
degree.
to augment your character rather than just
there we go.
You know, your
Problem solved.
specialization. And I think that's the issue. WoW has not really innovated in this area in quite a while. I think that this has hurt them quite a bit. But I think it's a bit of a blue ocean situation, right? Because they've done so little, there's so much growth potential that they could really impress people. So while a 15-minute quest line to get a single bit of armor and some mascara is fine, I ultimately think that that's the sort of thing that players will do once and forget. I don't think it's creating long-term value, and I think really creating long-term value is what Blizz needs to do. And let's be real here. They can't push the mechanical progression further than where it is now. They need to start innovating in the visual and cosmetic direction if they want people to feel their characters progress. I mean, what will happen next? Will they just remove our talent tree and put that all onto Azerite V2? Is that where our abilities will go? Like, they've stripped so much away from the core classes and then
don't give them any ideas
into a progression system. They can't do it anymore.
Don't give them any ideas.
They can't, like, do more Titan Forging. Those systems have hit their limit. They need to create progression along other areas that feels new and fresh in comparison to what people have now. And I think that is Blizzard's big challenge. I think if they do it right, they could really, really make the game more sticky, so to speak. You know, keep people playing week on week.
Well, that would make
Much
me
like
sticky.
how when
It'd be
Transmog
great.
first
I'd
came
love
out,
it.
even when there was a big content drought, people were still trying to build up sets from old raids because that had unlocked a whole bunch of content. And Transmog, I think, is a great example of something that was multiplicative in nature, and the effectiveness of that is something that should be remembered when thinking about new content and systems.
Transmog is content.
So there you go.
Even
That's
if you
my
don't
thoughts
like
on World of Warcraft's reward problem, and why I don't think it feels super rewarding, and I think that's why Battle for Azeroth maybe is not going to retain players as well as Legion did with its artifacts and its tints and its class mounts and all those nice things. Of course, there's still plenty of time for this expansion to progress, and my great hope is that Blizzard will embrace some of these more multiplicative ideas rather than just throwing sets at the wall that take, 20 minutes to unlock, because I don't think that's going to be a good use of their resources. So, thank you very much for watching this video. I really want to hear what you think about the reward system of the game, how you've experienced it.
20-minute reward chain isn't going to keep people playing the game?
Do you feel excited?
What do you mean?
Are there rewards do you feel excited to try to get from a non-statistics perspective? I would love to know, so please do let me know. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I will see you next time.
I mean, I'll be honest, guys. That's a video that we should have, you know what? I'm going to link it in chat. I don't do this enough. I'm going to link it in chat. Everybody go ahead and give Bellular a sub and give him a like, guys. That was a great video. Okay? Got him. This is what we've been waiting for. These videos are what we've been waiting for. The discussion of the game on a meta level and understanding players on a psychological level is what Blizzard doesn't do. And that's what needs to happen. I don't know why, but for whatever fucking reason, it's just not one of the things that they care about anymore. I think they just spend all their time agreeing with each other, and then the time in between that, it's like, what the fuck is the point, man? We don't click links? It's funny, dude. Okay. But yeah. They're overthinking it. Just do what's fun. Well, it's not about doing what's fun. I think that's like a stupid thing to say. Like, you're really gonna just say, oh, you're overthinking it? Come on, man. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, to me, I just feel like the whole idea of making a reward that only lasts for a few minutes. Actually, oh wait, you're supposed to control undead these things, right? Oh, I got him. Oh, fuck yeah, dude. I got the guy. Yeah, the rewards are fucking terrible. That's why people don't care about it anymore. Yeah, I like this song a lot. People keep saying, let's make WoW 2 compared to Classic. Well, I think people want, like, here's what people I think really want. They want a game that has new graphics with the same, they want BFA to have Classic WoW's design philosophy. I think that's really what most people want, more than Classic WoW. Like, if you were gonna ask people, like, what would you rather have, like Classic WoW, or would you rather have like a game that has Classic WoW's philosophy from today, with today's graphics and design changes, right? That's right, jeez. I've been having a hard time talking today, holy